After K-pop, now it's the era of K-vote. Leading the trend is none other than Korea's fraudulent elections. But since this is so beyond imagination, it's hard to believe. What's more, the media never reports on it, making it even harder to accept. There's a term for those who deny election fraud, bu chung, meaning vermin who deny election fraud. They refuse to believe, even when presented with clear evidence. For them, here are 10 key pieces of evidence of election fraud.
현실 참여 캐릭터
까뿌까
1. Green cabbage ballots. Early voting ballots are printed at polling stations. After the constituency ballot is printed, the green color proportional representation ballot follows. A ballot where the contents of these two overlap is called a green cabbage ballot. This is what it looks like. Bubachung claimed the National Election Commission has already explained this, but their so-called explanation is a poor excuse blaming clerical error. Even if a clerk's hand was accidentally pulled in by the machine, according to the Commission's own manual, a new ballot should have been issued. This kind of ballot would never have been handed out. Moreover, the green color comes from yellow and blue combined. If yellow and blue appear separately, it means they were printed separately. That's an impossible outcome with this kind of action. Duplicated text, repeatedly stamped seals, and swapped positions of party names prove this ballot wasn't printed by the printer in the polling station. Most decisively, by the time the constituency ballot is cut, the top of the PR ballot is already printed out. So this type of overlapping print cannot occur. 2. 10 identical defects. Ballots from different polling stations show identical defects in identical positions. This is no coincidence, especially when these ballots appear consecutively. 10 ballots that were supposed to have been printed at different polling stations show identical line defects in the same locations, and the 10 ballots appeared consecutively. Not only the lines, but even small defects appear in the same positions. If management seals differ, the ballots must come from different locations. The identical defects show these are fake. 3. Twin ballots. Similar to the above. These two ballots, supposed to have come from different polling stations, bear two identical spots in identical positions. Such blemishes cannot occur on inkjet printers used for early voting ballots, but are typical of toner-based laser printers. 4. Magnetized ballots. Fake ballots found repeatedly from the 2020 general election through the 2025 presidential election. A voter receives only one ballot per election, so these unseparated ballot pairs cannot exist. The NEC's excuse of static electricity is laughable alongside their shape memory paper claim. 5. Misaligned margins. Could there really be a ballot with one side missing? Early voting ballots have been printed for years on the Epson label printer, with firm paper guides and a lock. Ballots are uniformly 100 millimeter wide. The NEC's video shows that the guide lock is firmly glued to prevent misalignment. If such printers produce these ballots, Epson should sue the NEC immediately. 6. Crisp new ballots. Most ballots are folded and handled by many during counting. Who inserted these perfectly crisp, brand new ballots then? If the ballot paper really has shape memory, as the NEC claims, then what are these folded ballots supposed to be? The NEC claims out-of-district ballots often aren't folded as they go into envelopes. But how can ballots longer than the envelope possibly fit unfolded? Even in non-envelope ballots from Election Day, these crisp ballots appear. They are smuggled fakes. 7. Japanese flag ballots. Can you believe over 1,000 ballots at one site were stamped incorrectly, simply because the clerk didn't know how to use the stamp? The clerk later testified that they had never seen nor stamped ballots this way. 8. Missing 20 ballots. It's about voting record anomalies. In Paju City's Gumcheon-idong, 20 unstamped ballots were recorded but never appeared in the recount. Why? Likely because entire ballot boxes were swapped before the recount. 9. Trimmings. Since ballots are from cleanly cut roll paper, trimmings shouldn't stick to them. But is it even possible to have ballots like these? The NEC blames out-of-district ballot envelope cutting, But that is physically impossible because the cutter feeds envelopes in one direction. 10. Consecutive Democratic votes. Votes from various candidates should be mixed during counting. Yet continuous rows of Democratic Party votes are often observed. At the 2025 presidential election, over 3,000 consecutive ballots for Lee Jae-myung appeared. The manual warns in red, "Do be careful not to feed ballots twice as it causes double counting." So what are these consecutive ballots? Leftists favor early voting. Bubachong consistently claim leftists prefer early voting, so disparities are natural. Can that really be true? This is the PR vote share comparison between early voting and election day for major parties in the 2024 general election. In the 2024 election, only 3 leftist parties gained more from early voting. The other leftist parties, Shim Sung-jung's Green Justice and Lee Nak-yeon's New Future, were the opposite, just like other right-wing parties. Some leftist parties prefer early voting and others don't. These two parties were abandoned by the fraudsters. Shim of Green Justice opposed Lee Jae-myung in 2022, possibly earning exclusion. Feeling abandoned, Lee Nak-yeon later supported conservative Kim Moon-soo. Their downfall proves the leftist voting theory false. When the former U.S. diplomat publicly called him a rapist and murderer at the election fraud press conference, why did Lee Jae-myung remain silent? Election fraud is real. Though ignored by media, the outcry continues. It's not too late to join.